They fixed Zencaster completely. This just it's every time now. Welcome to the Get Offset podcast. My name is Emily.
And I'm Joan of Heart.
I'm moving my microphone a little bit closer to my face. Hope not a bad choice, but it's a choice. You know, I breathe through my nose so much that I should put it a little bit more.
Mic choice is important.
Mic placement. For those who are just listening, I'm trying to adjust my microphone so you can't hear my allergies, which are now the fall allergies. Every season brings a new adventure with it.
No.
That's
It's like,
okay.
hello, I know you've missed me. I'm just coming back around. You know, let's go out places. Let's do things. Like you're like, no, leave me alone.
No, just fuck off. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So, but we are going to talk about something new-ish. I don't know if it came out this week or last or the week before.
Oh, I think it was relatively recent.
It was pretty recent, yeah.
Yeah, pretty recent. PRS pretty much kind of jumped on the bandwagon of creating effects pedals, much like I guess what Fender and Gibson did recently. And they're like, hey, I mean, let's get into that oversaturated pedal market too.
I was about to say, because the pedal market isn't crowded enough already.
I know.
What we need are these like dark glass looking, like actually, was it Nuremberg? They look very what is that company?
Yeah, I have trouble pronouncing that one too. Yeah, and I was like looking at it, I was like, okay, it's interesting kind of topography, kind of design on them.
Yeah. They have a very Nuremberg look, I think.
Yeah.
Like exceedingly. They are black and they have kind of wavy lines on them. They look like they were made in like some software that creates fractals.
Mm-hmm. Or it's like like the topography pretty much of like a landscape or yeah. But for the most part, what I noticed about them when they first came out was everyone kind of like chuckling over their choice of names for these pedals.
These names are weird, man. Like they're not. I mean, they got attention, so I'll give them that.
Points.
Yeah.
Just going over, of course, like when I was watching like the demos and stuff like that. So one of them is pretty much like called "Wind Through the Trees," you know, in case no one else has heard what these names are. The other one,
what?
which
I'm sorry, is "Wind Through the Trees" supposed
"Wind
to be
Through the
Trees?
Trees"? I don't think so. Is basically Paul said that it's the sound of two dual analog flangers with a little echo, so it's like as if during a storm and the wind rushing through the trees.
Well, "Wind in the Trees" is a Joe Satriani song, so
no, that too. Yeah, I mean, I guess he was trying not to name drop.
I mean, I wouldn't want to name drop specifically, but yeah, so that's the dual analog flanger, which is, of course, a very popular effect type.
Oh, yeah. The other one was Mary's Cries, which I'm like, okay, well, I mean,
Like
maybe
the wind cries, Mary? But wouldn't that be like a Leslie? What did he use on that?
Yeah, he didn't explain why it was called Mary Cries, so I'm like, all right.
Yeah. So that's an optical compressor?
Yep, optical compressor, LA2A compressor.
I mean, yeah.
It's optical.
So now I'm thinking about it. The Wind Cries Mary is a pretty clean song. So yeah, I would guess there'd be some compression on that one.
Yeah, the other one is called Horse Meat, which I pretty much right off the bat already assumed it was kind of like a centaur, killer joke of like, he eats clowns for breakfast or something.
Yeah, that one's a transparent overdrive because again, we don't have enough of those.
No.
In its benefit, it does have more knobs than a Klon.
Yes,
the Klon
it does.
has 3 knobs, and this has 5, including a big old gain, treble bass, tone control, voice, and level.
Yes. The voice pretty much is the knob that was added, adds the high mid-range, not treble, but just a high mid-range for clarity. Yeah.
Presence,
Mm-hmm.
right?
I like that.
I think that'd be like a presence on a hot cake. or a Marshall amp. So yeah, these I find very boring looking. Of course, looks aren't everything.
No, they aren't. We
No,
had that discussion
no.
last week.
I am really shocked by how much these look like the Nunenberg pedals. Like
Yeah,
they
they're pretty close.
use kind of a similar. I don't know if I'd call the font similar, but if I saw these in the store, that's the assumption I'd make, is that they were that
That they were
brand,
the
not
same brand,
PRS.
yeah.
Yeah, and PRS has such a unique aesthetic in their guitars, so it's
Of
kind of
course.
surprising that the pedals don't have at least some sort of obvious nod to that.
Yeah, like, as far as, like, when I first saw them, I'm like, "Okay, where are the birds?" Like, where are the birds?
Maybe they're on the PCBs.
There we go. It's on the inside. You have to open it to see the birds.
Because that's what really matters, what's on the inside. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't watch a single demo for these yet. Are there even demos? I don't remember if they
There's
sent them
ones that
out to
have
people.
started. There's ones that have started to come out, but I only watched, the original, like, release one just because I was curious of, like, what beyond the names, which already I thought were a little what really was going on here? What was the thought process behind it? What was involved? Like, that's basically what I was looking for when I watched the PRS one. Like, how are they going to explain their own pedals?
Yeah, they really went with some big names for these demos. Like you got Reverb slash aka Andy,
Hmm.
Andertons, RJ, Phil McKnight, Premier Guitar. Um,
Big names, basically. Yeah,
yeah,
big
pretty.
platforms.
Yeah, so I mean, I would. They don't do just in general. PRS doesn't do a lot of demos. Worship tutorials, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
they're
mean, I'm
kind of
not
similar.
surprised.
Yeah, I mean, as far as demos go, they seem, I guess, what, closer to when Strymon has a drop. They only choose certain people to, yeah.
Oh, I feel like Strymon kind of sneaks one or two smaller
Yeah.
demo artists in there generally. But yeah, no, I really do want to hear how they sound. I always like a good compressor. It's weird for
Hmm.
me to say that that's the one that's kind of the most interesting to me.
Yeah.
Um the flanger looks interesting, the dual analog.
Yeah, from what he explains, basically the two FOs basically sounding like two Leslie speakers in the room together. The controls are kind of like the widths, the range. Let me see. Yeah, basically the added highs knob, which usually older flangers would basically you wouldn't really hear that in there. So they
Yeah.
basically add a knob to add those back in because normally we would get those at least if you had it added with an amp after it.
Mhm. Yeah, they don't look like bad pedals, like, they don't look like
No.
they're bad components or anything.
No, they have some good
Uh,
thought process behind them. Like, it's like,
yeah.
"Oh, what's missing out there?" So, at least I appreciated that. Like, here is even, like, where they were talking about, like, the horse meat, even though he was like, "Well, we built it from scratch. I got a claw, but I didn't look at the claw," and I was like, "Well, you had to have a base, like, to do that," but basically added whatever he thought that, he liked about it and what maybe it should have been beyond that. So, I think that's the reason why he's saying it's obviously a little different.
Yeah, let me look up the price on that because, they don't sell them direct,
Which one?
but,
All of them? Because I have
any
the
of them.
prices. Okay, so the Wind Through the Trees is about 350.
Yeah, I just saw that as you said it.
Yeah.
That is the high-end pedal price. Oh my
Yes, it is.
god.
That's Strymon level price,
Oh
yeah.
my god.
Mary Cries is 220, right around
For
there. Horse Speed
I'm
is two
sorry,
fifty, 270. Yeah, it's a high.
220 for an optical compressor? How much is the Impress Mark II
About
compressor?
250. I think it's around there.
And that pedal's awesome.
Yeah,
So they have
I
one.
love that one.
Yeah, Guitar Center has one used for 220, which
Okay, yeah.
yeah, I mean, I really love that compressor from Empress, the Mark II. Like,
I do too.
if I only get one compressor on a board, it's going to obviously if I mean, I have a couple compressors. That was the stupidest thing I ever said. That was
Yes.
among this. I'm gonna build a pedal board, all compressors.
That's it. Just as a rule. Instead of rats, all compressors.
All compressors. This is it for me, babies. Just a shit ton of compressors. I
one
quit.
compressor to rule them all. And then you have them battle it out, and there can only be one.
Oh my god. I mean, I like the Empress. It's quiet. It has a lot of different like the manual has great starting points for different like kinds of music that you might want to play, from like
Oh,
country to
yeah, I
funk and
appreciate that.
beyond.
The
And
chicken
I really
picking,
love
yeah, I
that.
saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like, this is just a one knob compressor, which obviously has its place, but $220, y'all.
Yeah,
People just
yeah,
shat on Cattle and Bread for releasing $150 one
one
knob
knob.
pedals,
Yes.
and they
Yes, they
sound
did.
good. I demoed the Cattle and Bread one knobbers. We can talk about that later. But
Yeah,
people were all
well,
like, they're too expensive. I'm like, maybe. I don't know.
I
Depends
was like,
on how
well,
you
I mean,
value things.
you can tell the brand yourself. Like, you can
Tell me
email them.
something.
Yeah.
No, but like $220 for a one knob compressor, just what
Yeah.
kind of mojo can that possibly? This better be the quietest compressor on the fucking planet for $220 for a one knobber. Actually, it's
Yeah,
two knobs. I keep saying one knob. It's two knobs. It's
it's 2,
compression
yeah.
and
One,
volume
they was
now.
like, "Hey, if you want, you can turn the compressor, like, off, and then you have a boost." And I'm like, "Okay." I mean, like, beyond that, I mean, I understand that it's the equivalent of, well, "Hey, we put a LA2A compressor, into a pedal, hey, you only needed 2 knobs on the original one anyway." Like, I get
Yeah.
it, but at the same time, like, the price is, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. Let's see. It's clean single coil sustain, which is compression almost all the way up, input gain a little up. Gain boost slide tone, compression almost all the way up, output in the middle. Subtle tone thickening.
There's those zingers.
Yo, guys, okay.
Well, no, and Horsemeat,
Let's
they're describing it as throaty, and I'm just like, "No, no."
ew.
No. Don't do this.
Throaty. Y'all have some higher, better copywriters. Throaty.
Deep and
Ew.
throaty.
I'm gonna look up throaty in the dictionary right now.
Yes, what is the description?
Dictionary.com. Throaty. Produced or modified in the throat, guttural, husky, or hoarse. Just say
Horse, yes.
guttural,
There it
husky,
is.
or hoarse. Horse meat is
Horse.
hoarse.
Horse.
Husky, I dig husky as I guess it'd be an adverb. That's an adjective. That's an adjective. Sorry,
Well,
definitely
I
an
mean,
adjective.
if
I'm a
if they went
raider.
with that if you went with that route, you probably need to put a husky on the on the pedal.
If you play throatily, that's an adverb. Oh my god, what have we done? Horse meat is an interesting name for a pedal, and I think in one thing that kind of it didn't surprise me, but it just like wasn't something I was expecting that day. Seeing people talk
No.
about like what horse meat tastes like.
Oh, I've read, yeah.
I hear it's gamey.
Stringy?
Yeah, it's just like they're very like they use their muscles a lot, so they're not going to be like tender.
No.
And they're often used in stew and like French cooking. I think America is one of the only countries that really frowns upon horse meat specifically. I
Yeah.
guess we just prefer
Not
to
that
send
we're
our horses to the glue factory.
Yeah, that was the other joke I saw being made about the pedal.
It's going
Yeah,
straight to the glue factory.
that they should have named it that, yeah. But not that we're
Horse
condoning, any harm against, horses or anything.
Oh, hell no. Horses are awesome, dude. Horses are matriarchal.
Mhm.
That's pretty cool. I think that's why so many girls become horse girls, because the ladies tend to rule in the horse world. Why aren't there more female jockeys? I digress. But you gotta be small to be a jockey. You don't have to
It's
be
perfect
like
size. We're already perfect
strong.
size.
Yeah, well, I'm not. I'm way
Yeah,
too tall to be a jockey. You
yeah,
might be.
I'm little.
How tall are you, if you mind?
I think without shoes,
Without shoes. Yes, that's how
yeah,
you measure.
you add. So I'm 5'4"
Oh, that's
without
not that
shoes.
short. I think you might be too tall to be a jockey. I don't know.
Yeah, I probably am.
I'm 5'7".
Okay.
On a slow day, yeah. S which is, like, a great height for knowing when somebody's lying about how tall he
It
is.
is. Like, how tall are you?
"Oh, you're 6 feet? You don't look 6 inches taller than me." Yeah. You look way less than 5 inches taller than me, man. But then again, we're used to being lied about what 6 inches looks like, aren't we? Sorry, it's a blue episode. We've already talked about that's why we're so bad at parallel parking also, I think. Just stop
I'm pretty up.
lying.
Oh. Oh my god.
I'm
Yes,
sorry.
yes, yes. No, it's okay. It's okay.
So, personally, I would kinda wait for these to go on sale before I buy them. And, like,
Yeah.
the holidays are coming up, like, I do think it's kind of an odd time to release pedals
Do it.
because
Yeah,
in,
yeah.
like, 6 weeks, everything's gonna start going on sale. So, it's like anything I see that's released right now, my instinct is wait
Yeah.
for the sales because I think they're gonna happen, right?
I would think they would.
Yeah, before we talk about is there anything else you wanna say about these? Because I don't like again, I haven't heard them. I think the flanger is cool. I don't know if it's $350 cool, 330, 300
Yeah,
plus dollars cool.
I don't know about the price as far as that goes. I
No.
mean, at least from what I heard, I was like, okay, maybe I could hear like, some White Snake or like something out of this or some like 80s kind of like vibe,
If you really love
at least
flangers, which is
yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, yeah, I mean, the horse meat sounded, obviously Klon like. I don't know, I don't think they jumped out at me like more than anything else on the
Um,
market did. So it's like again, it's like when, talking about certain brands entering the market, we already know
yeah.
it's heavily saturated. What are you offering that is different than is already out there? Are you just trying to, put more of the same out there, or are you actually looking at your, schematics or and just figuring, hey, like let's at least try to take something that has a good foundation and let's see where we can head with it in a different direction.
Yeah, I mean, and they're not the only guitar just not non-pedal brand that's released
Mhm.
pedals. Seymour Duncan's been doing it for years. I think it was last year they released a Vapor Trails Deluxe, which looked like a really cool pedal, and they just didn't really promote it.
Yeah.
I mean, that pedal had fucking everything. I think Ann Silikowski just got one, and I'm
Oh
really,
shit,
like,
nice.
happy for her because it seems like a really, really cool pedal. They did their amps as well, Seymour Duncan, and those were really
Hmm.
neat, I thought. I thought the really cool thing about those Seymour Duncan Power Stage amps was that they didn't add color. So if you just needed to amplify a cabinet at the end of your signal
Okay.
chain,
Yeah.
they could do that, or if you wanted because sometimes you just really like it didn't get more I don't think you can get a cleaner pedal platform than a Seymour Duncan Power Stage, um, as somebody who just has one. They didn't send it to
Yeah.
me to demo, I got it from
Got one.
work.
Yeah.
I didn't buy it, no, my boss sent it to me.
Nice.
"Thanks, Michael."
Yeah, now a
Lovely guy.
word from our sponsor. Thanks, Mike.
Again, I do work in musical copywriting, so it's pretty normal
Yeah.
for us to have those things, and, Seymour Duncan was a client of mine. They're not presently. I am
Hmm.
I really love their marketing team a lot.
Awesome.
But yeah, I've never worked with them on a demo basis, but I really like them as a company and as a group of people. I think they're pretty great. Buy Seymour
Awesome.
Duncan stuff. Affiliate link in video description. um, No, so they were doing pedals for years and years. I think they were one of the first that I can think of, like, guitar brands to do pedals. Of
Hmm.
course, Dan Electro is really famous for their
Well done.
pedals. I feel like there was a while that Dan Electro was more famous for their little pedals than, their guitars. Some of my first guitar pedals were so I had Boss pedals, I had
Mhm.
a Crybaby Wah, and I had a bunch
I
of
had
Dan
one.
Electro pedals from their Lunchbox series.
Nice.
They were a great way to introduce me to, effects. I used their chorus, into my 20s.
Hmm.
Like, I bought them when I was probably, like, 12 or 13. So, I
It's going
that's
back.
saying something. Yeah, that's saying
Yeah.
something. And I have a demo of their Spring King Spring Reverb. For the price, I think it's pretty good, but I don't think it competes with the, Surfy Bear
Okay, yeah,
at
no,
all.
that the Surfy Bear and the Trem one was just yeah, those are great.
Oh, that
Yeah,
Surfy
that's like
Bear
any
tremolo.
yeah, when you played that one with the tremolo, I was just like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I guess it's going on my list someday," but oh, that sounds so good.
So, I guess we can't say if these, like, endeavors for, like, Seymour Duncan and Dan Electro were, like, profitable for them or, like, a good idea for them.
Yeah.
We can't say that. All I can say is, like, I know a lot of people who know the Dan Electro pedals who don't play Dan Electro guitars. So, I mean, looking at that, at least, that seems kind of like something to consider, right?
Yeah.
So, before we talk about more of this, because we definitely can,
Yeah.
I heard you went to see one of my favorite singers last night, songwriters.
Yes, yes, I finally got out of my fishbowl and saw a concert this year.
Yeah, tell me about
Yeah.
it.
So we basically went to go see, Lucy Dacus, last night at, basically, like, it's kind of a little small intimate venue. It's open for the most part, but
Nice.
they just added, like no, at the band shell, it's called.
Mm.
Really great set. Even the opener, which was called, what was it? Crooks and Nannies, and they were amazing. Like,
Oh, that's a fun
yeah.
name.
Yeah, it's a great
Nooks and
name.
Crannies, great. I love
Crooks
it.
and Nannies. Yeah, I love that. So they were great. Obviously, I didn't know that band, but went into it. Obviously, if they're traveling with them, I'm pretty sure they're good. So yeah, definitely enjoyed their set a lot. And then of course when Lucy got on, like it was just the whole night. The audio was great. She was completely clear, and just the band jiving and playing all the songs that obviously we
Yeah.
love. Like it was nice. It also started to drizzle a little bit, and obviously anybody, it's like standing room for the most part. So anybody that was in the front, she was like, "Hey, is it raining?" And people were like, "Oh, well, yeah." And
That's good
she's
now.
like, yeah, she was just like, "Okay, I thought it was just me," you know. Towards the end of the night, it seemed like she really digged the vibe. And of course, she was like, "Yeah, with not only the vibe of the night and like with the little bit of rain here," she was like, "We've been through like a little bit of difficulties lately, but like." The way I feel tonight and how everything was, it really made me feel good and made me feel happy today.
Good.
So thank you. So I was like, oh, that's
Yeah.
actually pretty nice that, an evening, kind of lifted her spirits.
Can be
Um,
meaningful to, like, the crowd and the performer equally, because you forget that.
exactly. Yeah.
Like, and you think it's just somebody's job sometimes when you're watching, but, like, a good show can really, really turn some shit around for you, or just, like, even a
Yeah.
couple good people in a show that's otherwise not great can really make you feel a lot better.
No, of course. And it's an
Um,
exchange, the artist and obviously the listener. It is an active exchange. And
yeah, I mean,
especially
my
when it's intimate like that.
yeah. My 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 mother has a friend named Tom Ryan, and Tom,
Hmm.
he really exposed me to a lot of great music, Americana and stuff. He was like my mom's cool friend who had great taste. He still is someone with great taste, I'm sure. But he he would talk about like he always get great tickets to concerts. He worked at a venue, and once he got Rick and I really he let us sit, like, in the second row of, I'm sorry to say, a Ryan Adams concert with Jason Isbell opening, but that was, like, obviously before all the
Okay.
issues.
Before all that,
Um,
yes.
Before all that, yeah. But he said that sometimes he doesn't really wanna sit close up to the stage because he feels like you have to perform for the performer.
Oh,
Like, if you feel like you have to perform for the performer and you're not just going to naturally do that, maybe you shouldn't.
yeah.
Uh Like, there are it's very rare I go to a concert and don't wanna be up front, and when I don't wanna be up front, it's because I know there's a lot of people there who are way more excited than I am.
Yeah, usually I don't really like to sit too far up close because I feel like however the speaker or the sound system is might be more behind me than obviously right up on stage. So usually
Mhm.
a little bit back center usually works for me.
Yeah, I want to be close enough to feel the vibe, usually,
Mhm.
It depends on the show. If it's a whole
Of
city show, I'm
course.
front row. Fuck it.
I
I'm
love to
getting
feel the
there
vibes directly.
early. Yeah. I want to, and I want it. Big Thief, I wanted to be pretty close, but not right up front.
Mhm.
Trying to think of like other shows I've seen lately. I'm so bummed, dude. Like this band I like they're called Always.
I saw your
And like,
post, yeah. I'm
dude,
sorry.
I
Uh,
I have been literally out of town or working other events the past like 4 or 5 times they've been in Seattle. And I thought I was flying out the day of their show in October on the 22nd. I'm actually flying out the
yeah,
day after, the morning
sure.
after. And now I'm trying to get tickets. And they're gone. They're sold out.
You
I'm gonna
sure? Because I looked up on one of them just to post 'cause I didn't know whether you were posting that because you wanted a deal or not. But I did see. Hold on, let me look at my search results because I
StubHub.
guess
StubHub is
yeah, I think
charging
that was that.
StubHub, I saw. So
Stupid
originally tickets to
prices.
the show were 26, $25. You add like 10 to $15 for fees. People are like StubHub is charging
Okay, it's not.
$55 for the top balcony, which is GA, and then they're adding like $50 worth of fees for 2 tickets, which
This
would be
one
like that.
actually is Vivid Seats.
Vivid Seats.
Yeah, I'm sending it to you now.
Thank
If
you.
that's the case,
So
yeah.
I posted on Twitter and immediately I got a couple replies. One seemed to be from a real human, the others two seemed to be from bots. So I'm going to implore you, if you have Twitter and you post asking
Please.
for tickets and somebody immediately says, I've
I
got
have.
them,
Yeah.
look at their profile, look at their tweets and replies, and if the only replies they ever tweet are, I've got tickets, DM me. I just DM'd you. I've got tickets for this if you still need them. Fucking bots. Like, just there's special space in hell for people who, one, scalp tickets for an enormous profit,
Yeah.
and two, scammers.
Yeah,
Fuck
I hate bots
scammers.
anywhere.
I don't like bots. Well, some of
No
those
one
Reddit
really
bots are
does.
good bots. Some of the Reddit bots are good bots. They tell you if
Okay,
you accidentally,
okay.
sometimes they accidentally tell you if you wrote a haiku in a Reddit comment. That's a good bot.
Okay, so those are good uses. Okay.
Yeah, but
You're slightly, making the case for them.
there are, oh, these are actually really good seats. I'm sending this to Rick. He said he would
Did
buy
I
them for
save the
me.
day? Did I
I hope
save the
so.
day? I hope so.
I hope so. Yeah, so second balcony. I want the original balcony. First balcony, $83. GA floor, $109 each. It's a 4x markup before fees. People are bad. I'm thinking
Yes.
about waiting for the day of because they're
People are,
usually
yeah.
promoter holds come open.
Okay.
I'm so stupid. I know the promoter for that venue.
Why don't you contact? What are
Why
you
am I
yeah, what are you
stressing?
doing? What are you
Why am I
doing?
stressing? Shit. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. But if
It's
you do have
okay.
tickets to Always in Seattle on October 22nd and you want to sell them to me, I will pay up to 2 times what you paid for them. List, but not a penny more.
No, no more.
But as someone, I did find somebody who's selling them, and I do think she's a real person, but she doesn't want to use, she doesn't have PayPal or Venmo. She wants to either
Okay.
use Zelle or Apple Pay. And I said, well, I don't think you're a scammer. I'd be doing myself a big disservice to not just assume you were. Because like
Mhm.
Apple Pay, like PayPal, I was like, I'll cover the extra fees to do not friends and family.
Of
And
course.
she said, I don't have PayPal.
Yeah. Ugh, yeah, I know.
Zelle? Fuck Zelle. Zelly? I don't have Zelly, and I don't really know how to do Apple Pay with other people.
Yeah, I have most of them, I think. Right now, my PayPal is a little bit of a pain in the ass because it's stuck in the business mode. And it's like recently found out that whether like someone sends me anything, they can't pick friends or family. So like now I have to pretty much call them like, hey, could you take me out of that mode? That'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Apple Pay doesn't have buyer protection, and Zelle does not have
Mm-mm.
buyer protection. I'm just like, I'm sorry. I'd rather not get scammed out of $140 from this
Oh
person
no, hell no.
potentially.
Yeah, don't do that.
No, I'll let Rick get scammed. He makes more money than I do.
You're
I'm
like,
just
yeah, man, you can
kidding.
do that. You can do
I'm
that, dear.
kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Operation Human Shield, Rick, come to my aid.
No, I don't want him to get scammed. Maybe I'll just sell a couple guitar pedals and buy them on Vivid Seats or something. But help me, Seattle, help me,
Focus.
help me,
help.
Who's a publicist? Sorry, Always Publicist. Do I know their publicist? I have like development agency. Oh, Grandstand? I know Grandstand. Who is it? Who's the actual person? Grace Jones. I don't know her.
The suspense.
Okay, so Grandstand PR. I used to intern for 2 of the owners of it.
Mm-hmm.
So if it was like one of them, I might consider bugging them, but I'm not gonna, obviously. But
hey,
yeah,
remember me?
I could talk about a gear thing I have that's new. What? It's called the My Little Cloney.
Oh,
My Little Cloney. It's
that's
by Daddy
awesome.
Daughter Pedal Works. So it's a guy and his daughter. They build and solder.
I've heard about
together.
those guys. Yeah.
Yeah, they've been doing this for years, and it's cute. It's pink, and I haven't even plugged it in yet. I just got it. But I like the vibe. He said that his daughter's getting better at soldering than he is, which doesn't surprise me because I've also always heard that women are better welders. We just have that kind of like, you notice most women just stereotypically have better handwriting than men, probably some better fine motor functions for a large part. I don't either is the thing. My handwriting is like, it's like fucking chicken scratch, but
I can write a doctor's note like easily.
I've gotten very good at soldering.
Yeah.
And I was okay at welding. So I'm like, yeah, I'm actually not surprised that women can be better than men. I mean, women can be better at men than anything, just like a man can be better at a woman than anything, including looking hot in a dress. I don't give a shit. So that's one thing I got. The other thing I'm filming is, I guess it's probably fine to say, I'm filming another video for Perfect circuit with my JX08. Awesome. So I've just been kind of playing with that and the Electron model cycles today. And the model cycles, like I'm actually starting to like try and build some patterns and stuff a little bit more. It's really easy to build a pattern on the Electron model cycles. So I've been having a lot of fun with that. What I don't like about it, it's a 5-volt plug.
What?
It's powered by 5 volts. I had a fucking breakdown today because I couldn't find the 5-volt plug for it. Where is it? I can't find anything. So I'm going to grab my label maker. I'm going to make a label for it. Label makers.
That's going to be helpful.
They're the best. It is. So yeah, those are the kind of the 2 things that new with me. Also, the Calvin Bread, speaking of one knob or guitar pedals, they released their Element series. So it's all one knob, distortion, fuzz, and overdrive. The enclosures I actually really like, partially because they're textured, which you can't really see. I like the design of them. I know I'm in the minority, but I genuinely, like, when I opened that box, I was like, oh, I really like the way this looks. It's one knob, and the knob is kind of clicks very gently all the way around, so it's not going to like accidentally get nudged.
You actually have setting points,
though. Yeah, but the knobs are all volume. The switches are black, which I think is pretty hot. I think it looks good. I think the fuzz and distortion sounded especially good. The overdrive just wasn't. I prefer a lighter overdrive than what that is. But yeah, check out my video on the Calvin Bread Element series. I had fun. I prefer demoing pedals as I demo more and more random shit to expand my horizons.
Yes.
Every time I go back and film a pedal, I'm like, yes. That was easier.
So much easier. It's a one knob.
Much easier. So much easier. But obviously Calvin Bread's not a guitar company that makes pedals. They're just a pedal company that makes pedals. But we talked about PRS's foray into pedals. We talked about how Dan Electro did pedals. Even Seymour Duncan, though they don't build guitars, builds pedals. I was thinking about how Gear Supply Company kind of finished when they started trying to build pedals. That's something to think about.
Yeah.
If you haven't heard about that whole thing, there was this company that sold rebranded products, and then their whole marketing campaign was we cut out the middleman, which is hilarious because they were literally middlemen selling rebranded Everly rockers.
Oh my God.
Which are good strings. So they sold rebranded Everly rockers. They put their own logo on some Delrin guitar picks that are actually really nice. But again, you can do that yourself. They sold some cables that were also rebranded, including some build your own cable kits. They did a Kickstarter to launch some pedals that never really got delivered.
Oh, that one, yeah.
Yeah. So they kind of screwed a
Bad
lot of people out
news.
of a lot of money. And now the guy who ran that is working for another pedal company, and it's based in Florida. Yeah.
It's not my fault.
The funny thing about that company is, like, I was reminded about them the other week, and I was reading some of their, like, reviews, and well over, like, half of them seem to be obviously from members of the company, which
Or
is
their
never a
family.
good sign.
No.
Or their family, like their spouses, girlfriends.
Yep.
Yeah, don't do that. I am one of a lot of reviews of my own podcast, but friends and family don't account for half of those reviews. They account for like 2 of them. So there's that. By the way, please rate and review this podcast on iTunes. It helps a lot. Like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. If you want to be a part of our exclusive Discord server, you can subscribe on Patreon at patreon.com/getoffset. At the $5 and above level, you get access to our exclusive Discord server. At the $10 and above level, you get merch. And at the 20, I think this might be 50 now. At another level, I'll write you a song. Someone has done that. It was great. I actually used that song in a lot of demos. Merch at getoffsetpodcast.com/shop. And we are on Spotify, including this video version.
Yeah, it's really interesting that you can upload them to the Spotify version now. I was like, wait, they do videos now? Yes.
I think eventually you can with iTunes, Apple Podcasts, but you can't from the platform that we're using.
Okay, I got you. Yeah,
it's okay. YouTube is better anyway. It's just better.
No, I agree.
Yeah, it is. Cool. So that was another digression. Yeah, Gear Supply Company. That was a wreck.
Oh yeah, that was I remember the episode when you and Andrew talked about that when it was all happening on the podcast earlier. Yeah, that was pretty messed up.
Ernie Ball does pedals, obviously. Ernie Ball, so Music Man and Sterling are the brands that make the guitars. Ernie Ball's always made a guitar pedal, a volume pedal. But they had a little foray into some effects pedals. They had a delay, an overdrive, and a tremolo. I thought the tremolo was great. The delay didn't do what I wanted it to do. It was like controlled the mix. I really felt like it should have controlled I think you should have picked what it controlled. And the overdrive was a really cool idea, but I wish they had done it with a fuzz or something else, something a little heavier. But yeah, you can find those for pretty cheap. They didn't really light the scene on fire. I think the tremolo it deserved more attention than it got because I thought it was really fun what you could do with it. I'm not sure that would count.
No, I mean, I saw also, I think in the past week, I think Orange released some pedals as well.
They've done pedals. Those never really
not like a new thing, but I saw they also did. But
yeah, they never really took off. I don't see a lot of those pedals on boards.
No, I definitely think it's probably the aesthetic, probably that.
Yeah, I would pick pedals from an amp company almost more than a guitar, because if they're tuning their pedals to sound great through your amp, that's really cool. I mean, orange amps are so unique. So I think it makes sense to have somebody from that team kind of tune overdrives and stuff to sound really good with orange pedals, because maybe they felt like other people weren't doing that. I wouldn't be surprised if orange pedals are big with orange amp users.
Could be. I mean, I haven't. It only just came out this past week, so I haven't seen anyone talk about it yet, at least in
The
the
orange
discords or
oh,
anything.
did Orange release new pedals?
I think it was in the past week. I think that
Oh.
was. Let me see.
Because they've had pedals for a long time.
Was it
They
Orange
had
Distortion? Let me see. The Sustain. I think those ones are the new ones.
they
They're
have
just
the
literally
Sustain
orange.
was new? Did you say the two-stroke boost?
Trying to say orange panels. Yeah, at least with the demo that I caught on the side, I think it was sometime this week. Yeah, new. It's basically the Vintage Series distortion pedal, the Vintage Series sustain pedal, and the phaser, Vintage Series phaser pedal. They're all about 250. But yeah, those are the three. They're orange and they have the orange name on it as the art that's on the pedal, and the in the same font is also the distortion, sustain, and phaser. It's pretty, yeah.
This compressor is $250? Am I just, like, way off base with how much compressors should cost?
Well, the
It's
costs
2
are
knobs. It
going up.
has
Maybe we're wrong.
level and depth. Maybe we
Yeah,
are wrong. I can be wrong.
I could
Oh,
be
so
wrong too.
yeah, I didn't even hear about those. I
Yeah, it's
was,
this
like,
past week,
aware
I
of
think.
their getaway driver, their overdrive pedal, and their orange compressor, which is only you can get the Kong compressor for $155, or you can get the new one for $250.
Or that.
I think I would, get the smaller one that has 5 knobs. Again, like, I don't know anything about this pedal
Oh,
particularly.
I am bringing new news to the table.
You are, that is new news, that is new news. Yeah,
New news.
I stand by that it makes more sense for an amp company to release pedals.
Yeah,
Which is
makes sense.
why for me, it makes a little bit more sense for Fender to have a line of pedals, because they have a line of amplifiers and guitars. They released the Hammertone series as the more recent one, that they've done. So those are all extremely budget friendly. I think some of them are like $80 new. I'm sure you can get them
Okay.
for less used. I think they sound fine. They're not those the Hammertone series to me, not exactly a game changer. Some of them were more fun. I liked the fuzz. I know not everybody did.
Hmm.
I liked the space delay. That seemed like the most popular choice for best in that line. I thought the reverb was fine. I didn't like the overdrive. I didn't like the way it sounded. I guess I'm
Hmm.
picky about overdrives. That's the thing, is like, I think overdrive is the hardest one to get right in your own rig.
Yeah, I'm picky. I'm picky about fuzzes that way. Like,
Yeah.
at distortion or like overdrives, I'm pretty good, decent at knowing kind of what I like in sound. But fuzzes is like, there's a certain kind that I like. And if it's not that, it's just hard for me to get into them. So yeah, I'm more
Mhm.
picky about fuzzes for sure.
Yeah, sure. I get that. I get that. Um, yeah. I'd be curious to hear how they sound. Again, I literally didn't know they existed.
Yeah,
I
check them
feel like
out.
the original ones, they also have the little bar over them so you don't accidentally nudge them
Hit them
with your
by
foot.
accident. Yeah, I remember those.
Yeah, I've seen plenty of people do that. I've never felt like it was necessary for a
Sorry, yeah.
pedal.
I was like, okay, is that like one of those purse handles? Are we just like, picking it up for the bar and carrying it? I mean, hey, that makes it
Hey, why not?
easy,
Why
I
not? Why not?
guess.
Why not? Yeah. Why not?
Just throw it over my shoulder.
Actually, I really like the look of this orange amplifier's fur coat pedal. I kind of like the design. It's like a lady, but she's a skeleton and she's wearing a fur coat.
Oh yeah,
That's
I've
kind of
seen that
cute.
one. Yeah, I like
That's
those
kind of
kind of
really cute.
designs.
Yeah. We were talking about Fender though. But
Mhm.
Fender also has like kind of a more, um, I guess, a pricier but also higher end line of pedals.
Yeah.
Like I have the dual. It's called like what's it called? The reflecting pool, which is their delay and their reverb combined.
Hmm.
I like it. I wish it had more stereo spread because it's a stereo pedal, but I like that.
Yeah.
I really liked the tremolo from that, like, kind of shiny, uh, bent metal enclosure. The tremolo was really great. I liked the MTG tube distortion as well as the LA. I thought those were really good. I also they had some bass pedals, including kind of a bass multi effect that I've used and kind of like. It's not my go-to, but if I can only bring one, if I only feel like bringing one pedal to a gig, it's going to be that one.
It's your
Yeah.
poison. Like it's the whatever one you're picking for just that
Yeah, I
need.
mean, it has compressor, it has overdrive, and it has EQ. Like that's pretty
Straightforward. Yeah.
much that's what I need. So yeah, I Fender obviously is making those. It's not even Fender's like second or third foray into guitar pedals. So it's just interesting to me when brands keep doing it. And it tells me like it has to be profitable for some of them.
In some way,
Like
yeah.
for the lack of Fender pedals I see on boards, generally speaking. I mean, Steve Selvage from the Hold Steady has one on his board. I've had them on my board. I think for things like the Hammertone series and these budget series,
Yeah.
it's more of like a loss leader to get people invested in the brand, but they still have to sound good.
You have to. At the very
Yeah.
least, because if you want someone to basically buy into that brand, if it is their first introductory, you don't want them to have a bad experience, and then they're like, "No, no, no, I don't need any of that. It's just me and the amp." Like,
Yeah. I think it's Fender's in a great position to like sell people their entire first rig. Like, oh yeah,
yes.
you get a Squire, Jazzmaster, Classic Vibe. You know, it's gonna be really good little guitar. You can get one of these like amps for under $200. Shit, you can get an amp with built-in effects, the Mustang series if you want, or if you want to have an actual pedal board, we sell pedal boards and power supplies
We got
and
you.
pedals. They got everything. They got the
Everything.
straps, the picks, the
Yep.
cables. It's a one-stop shop. Like
Yep.
it's like, do you want everything Fender? I guess some people
Fender,
do.
I put that shit on everything.
Spread that shit all over.
Schmear it.
I mean, you could, and it would sound pretty good, is what's kind of amazing about it,
Mm-hmm.
depending on what you do with it. So, yeah, that's kind of interesting. And then you were talking about Gibson, which they put their pedal series out under a different name, the Maestro.
Yes.
So, I forget how many pedals the Maestro series was.
How many was there? I know it was a little bit ago. Hold on. Maestro.
Uh,
Pedals.
Maestro Electronics. 5.
Okay, so 5.
5 in
Yeah,
this
I was just
picture.
quick draw there.
I'm fast as fuck, boy.
Fast as fuck, boy.
The
Yeah, 5.
Ranger Overdrive, the Invader Distortion, the Fuzz Tone FZM, which confusingly did not only sound like the original Fuzz pedal, that the Maestro Fuzz. The Discovery Delay and the Comet Chorus. And these are
Yeah,
not expensive. These are all $150.
no, they were actually again like I can obviously it's under,
Or
you know,
160.
Maestro and it's Gibson technically, but other than that it's like normally I would say some shit about Gibson, but I can't. At 150, that's actually a pretty great price point. Well done.
That's pretty reasonable. I mean,
Yeah.
they're more expensive than the Hammertone series. I think they look a lot better than the Hammertone series.
Yeah, I actually at first I was on the fence about how these look, but over time and I was like, no, I actually kind of do like their aesthetic. It actually is pretty nice.
I like it. I've seen them in person, but I just forget their size. 5 inches by 3.5 inches ish. So they're about 5 inches tall.
It actually
They're kind of
reminds me
big-ish.
looking
Reminds
at
you.
the FZ, I still have to fix the vintage one that I have.
Oh yeah, because Josh Scott
Yeah.
never got back to us about that, did he?
Nope. Nope. So I was reaching out at one point to like Alchemy. And
Mm.
then obviously life got busy and then like I didn't end up sending them out. So I still have to do
Yeah.
that. It's like this was a reminder. It's like I got to do that at some point and fix those.
Life was busy for them too, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, what's especially interesting about the Maestro series is that it is under a completely different name versus like Fender. If they could have made a different brand
Of
for their
course.
guitar pedals. Like they have like Jackson and Gresher's just completely separate brands, or Squire's is a completely separate name. They're all Fender guitar pedals. I almost think the Squire name should have been on the Hammertone series.
That would have made more sense, I think. Yeah.
I think it would have made more sense. And those they always brag that they're like unique, designed in-house circuits and things like that. I'm like, I don't for $80, I don't particularly care. If you're trying to do something completely new. Like, but I get it. Yeah. So like what those budget kind of lines all have in common is that they're the same enclosure, albeit the Hammertone and the Maestro pedals are extremely unique enclosures. They're the Maestro pedals, they all have 3 knobs and a toggle. That makes them even more similar than the Hammertone series, which varies because they had like 7 or 8 of them. They launched with a bunch. Yeah. I'm trying Seymour Duncan's pedals all look different. The Teisco pedals, that's another guitar adjacent brand. Yeah, so like they're owned by it used to be called Band Labs, was the whole brand. It's not anymore. I think it starts with a V now. But they had Heritage guitars, Harmony guitars, and Teisco pedals. So that's a little bit less like a guitar company building pedals and a little bit more like just a couple different brands. Of course, most people know Teisco for guitars, so I feel like it's still applicable to this conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I've always like been fascinated with their delay, and I was just like, one day that would be nice. Like,
Yeah,
it's a
I
great
had one of those
sounding
for a
delay.
while.
Yeah.
I liked their fuzz, the octave fuzz. It
Yeah.
was based on, but that was based on the Fox
The Foxy,
fuzz,
yeah.
Foxy. So kind of similar to that. The delay was cool. The modulation could get extremely weird on that
Yes.
one for
Yes, it
sure.
can. It's probably why I was into it. It
I
gets
had their
weird. Yes.
Yeah, it gets very weird. That's always a good thing.
Yep.
I still do have their interface. I used it a little bit for like GarageBand recordings for a while or using my phone. It just ultimately didn't do it for me very much. Like
No.
such bad latency, honestly.
Oh, yeah, that's bad.
Yeah,
Latencies,
and
no.
I'm pretty. It was a pretty flexible pedal overall, but I mostly used it as a straight up interface, and it didn't really do it for me. But the fuzz I haven't sold. The fuzz I have. Oh, it's over there. The delay I gave to a friend. I hope he still has it.
Hold on. Hi, where are you now? Can I have it now?
Hey, do you still have that? I hope
Yeah.
so. I hope so. But yeah, those are all the ones that I can think of. So PRS now has pedals, Gibson, Fender, I guess we can say Teisco, Dan Electro,
Yep. Dan Electro.
and
Yeah, this.
I think we can kind of count Seymour Duncan.
Yeah,
Gear
I would
support
think so.
company.
Yeah.
Expanding into pedals it's an interesting choice. I think that if you're doing this as a brand, especially a brand like PRS, it's because you want to, but like it's hard for anybody to make money in
Yeah.
the pedal industry right now. So that
Also,
is like a little perplexing to me.
yeah. Also, of course, when you think of supply chain shortages and you have these big companies then having the money and the flexibility to buy up stock, which obviously may impact
Yeah.
other builders. So I don't necessarily think it's an entirely good thing, but yeah, what are you going to do?
Yeah, it just depends on how they sound, I guess.
Yeah,
I'd rather have pedals from pedal companies, people who do this day in and day out and have for
I agree.
years. Um, Again, like for PRS, the flanger looks cool. It's very expensive.
Yeah, that's the thing. And I think even in my case, mostly I think what yeah, mostly all the pedals that I have are made by pedal companies, not guitar companies. So it's like even in the conversation, like I don't have any experience with pedals that are made by like, amp or like guitar
Oh,
companies just
or
cuz
right.
yeah.
Marshall's had
So
pedals, haven't they?
I haven't had any, so I mean,
Yeah,
I have a Catalan bread, which is like the dirty secret, which kind of emulates, but other than
Mhm.
that,
Marshall does have pedals.
oh, they do.
I forgot. Oh yeah, these are not attractive.
You're like, oh, they do. Wait, never mind. I
They
wish I'd
all have
forgotten.
they all do have pretty much the same enclosure with like the name of it is like a little like not a decal, like a
Okay, I'm
you'll see
looking
it.
at
You'll
them
know
now.
what I'm.
Oh, yeah, yeah. You're right.
Yeah, they just look really cheap. They look very tall as well, which means the knobs are protected. Is that such a big problem with everybody that we gotta protect the knobs?
Well, I mean, I
Just make
do
them a
like
little
the
harder to
design
turn.
of the they don't do it anymore. Maybe it was like a production thing, but I actually did appreciate the design of the Ibanez like tone locks, which you can obviously set whatever dial you want and then you
Ibanez.
push it in. So
Yeah.
therefore you couldn't knock it or anything. I was like, I think that design is actually pretty awesome. Like, but
Yeah.
they don't do it anymore. Obviously, the tone lock series is discontinued.
Or guitar. Did Ibanez do guitars before they did the Tube
Actually,
Screamer?
right. I'll take it back. That would be probably the one of the pedals that I have is made, I guess, by guitar company. Would be the Ibanez that I bought from Jason. Yeah.
Gosh, they're just so associated with the Tube Screamer that you forget that they also
You
make guitars.
do. Yeah.
'Cause if you don't like Ibanez
Oh,
guitars, because 'cause they're
wait.
not for everybody, everyone's heard of a Tube Screamer. I feel like the pedals were first. I'm gonna look up Ibanez on Wikipedia. Oh, that is their website. That is not Wikipedia. Give me Wiki. Japanese guitar brand, Japan, first musical instrument company to gain significant foothold in import guitar sales.
Mhm.
Huh. They were founded in 1957. So I would say they definitely made guitars before they made
First.
pedals. I would say that is the by far the most successful guitar pedal made by a guitar brand. And maybe
Yeah.
everyone's been chasing that since. Because these Marshall pedals, Marshall has definitely made lots of other pedals. Oh my gosh, there's 8 in this series. A
Yeah, I
compressor, a
haven't heard about them at
vibratrim.
all. I mean, it's good to have some introductory, pedals to get into. Much
Yeah, the
like we have
Marshall
the
Blues. Yeah, I'm sorry. The Marshall Blues Breaker is very famous. But go ahead. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. Just basically, even some of these pedals that are made, their price point isn't really that bad. So, I mean, you have the boutique market, and then you have these other brands that are obviously making a little bit more affordable for some people to buy in, even though they're larger brands. I mean, again, there's pros and cons to anything.
Yeah. These Marshall pedals are quite budget friendly. You can get their Alchemy Audio modifies BB2 for $50. You can get just a normal one for $100 used. It looks like it's a pretty
Okay.
standard going rate. Yeah. Interesting. We were talking about guitar pedals and we just kind of forgot about amp companies a little bit.
Yeah.
Milkman amps, they make some guitar pedals, including a pedal amp, but not just that. They have their reverb tremolo unit as well, which is really cool.
Benson.
Benson makes some great pedals. I'm looking forward to that fuzz delay.
Yeah,
I don't think that's a secret. He's talked about it a lot.
yeah, as I said, like I'm really looking forward to it because I know it's using the PT 2399, and I love that style of delay. So I'm
Mhm.
just like anytime I see little teasers, I'm like, yes.
Oh, it's gonna be good. You just know
Yeah,
it.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Cool. Um, awesome. Well, that sounds like a pretty good place to end it. I feel like we've talked a lot about people trying to break into guitar pedals, some more successfully than others, it seems. Obviously, the Ibanez Tomb Screamer and the Marshall Blues Breaker, I'd say, are far and away the most popular guitar pedals made by um, a non-guitar pedal centric company.
Yeah. No, I
And
agree with that.
the least successful were Gear Supply Company. And I hope I hope that PRS finds some success with their pedals. Yeah, just hard to kind of justify for me that price this close to like holiday season.
Yeah, the
So,
timing.
maybe yeah, that's what I would think. But yeah, well, thanks again, Joe, for leading this for, like, doing all the research for this conversation
Of
and picking the
course.
topic. I really appreciate it. Everyone out there, thanks for watching,
Thanks for
listening,
understanding.
Until next time, my name is Emily.
I'm Joan of Heart.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.